Frankenstein, Agent of S.H.A.D.E, number 10, written by Matt Kint, art by Alberto Ponticelli. Last issue was sort of kind of a Animal Man tie-in, but like not really. This doesn't even match up to that, so whatever. Frankenstein is in a library, and he's just reading through some old poetry books or something like that, his personal collection. And then the librarian comes over and starts laying down the moves, and she's like taking off her glasses and rubbing all up on him. And I will say throughout this issue, it has just panel cutaways to like a POV shot of something happening, whether that be like rubbing someone's face with a hand, like strangling someone, doing horrible things, doing great things, regardless, just random cutaways. And it's in a slightly different art style, so you know it's something else. But regardless, it seems to be Frankenstein's memories. Anyway, this particular issue, she's laying down the moves, and she's like, "Oh, Frankenstein, I can tell there's something going on. Something about traitors in our midst and Satan's ring." And then Frankenstein is like, "Hold that thought. Giant bugs are attacking." And then giant bugs start attacking and start killing Frankenstein, or at least trying to. And so he asks S.H.A.D.E who these guys are, and apparently they are bug assassins from a group called S.H.A.D.E. S.H.A.D.E. Yes, I know. Anyway, they are currently... They usually work with S.H.A.D.E and are hired out because of their ability to, like, be difficult to kill, but they're handled, like, for assassinations and stuff like that. And so now they're coming after Frankenstein. It's like, oh, well, who hired them to kill Frankenstein? So anyway, Frankenstein makes quick work of them. No real problem there. But then they have a sit down with the Father Time, and basically it's just like, all right, so we have one of our agents named Crowley is in some weird extra dimensional city that popped up 5 years ago. We need you guys to go and just check in, make sure everything's all right, because we can't get a hurt on her. And also, she may be the one who called this in. So we have a mole and a traitor. And yes, everything you just heard about where that weird flirty lady was true. So head on over. So anyway, they make a transfer through an extra dimensional thing, and apparently they have to transport via jetpack, because if they just transfer between dimensions without being in this weird cloud thing, which they transfer via jetpack, they will straight up be tore apart atom by atom. So they make it to this alternate dimension, which is basically just a upside down metropolis, but like people have lived here long enough that there are like pathways connecting to the different like skyscrapers, but like because the ground is on top, it's just floating on nothing but the skyscrapers. Regardless, they put their jetpacks away, and then they start looking around. Nina is running comms. Velcoro is looking over Nina. I will say 100% credit to Matt Kent here writing. They use the names of these like smaller creature commandos constantly, so they are now burned into my head. So Velcoro is watching Nina. Meanwhile, Griffith, the werewolf one, is teaming up with Frankenstein to go find see, now I forget the main one, Crowley. And very quickly they find her. And like they're trying to blend in. They keep on saying, oh, don't bring attention to yourself. But everyone in this city is just a normal human. And then you have a Wolfman Frankenstein and this weird blue-looking lady. So I feel like they don't blend in enough anyway. So then we see that there is a bug that is like one of the scary bees tracking after Frankenstein. So Velcoro goes off to try to fight after them. Frankenstein and Griffith still following Crowley. Griffith gets jumped by the bug. Frankenstein manages to stay ahead of it. So also a thing that the bugs can do is they use little nanite bacteria things that basically eat the flesh of their targets. So it didn't affect Frankenstein because he's already dead, but Griffith would be very highly effective. So he has to dodge out and make sure he doesn't get hit by any of their things. And while he does manage to take out one or two of them, he does eventually have to flee, and he ends up crashing into a random person's bedroom. So then we see Frankenstein just quoting poetry this whole time, by the way. Goes up and tries to... He yells after Crowley, like, Crowley, come back. What's going on? And grabs Crowley by the neck. And we just see more and more of these flashes of memories. And apparently Crowley was like, I got an official telepagraph message. Telepagraph. It's telepathy, but a message. So apparently it was from the Leviathan field office that said that Frankenstein was going to be the one that betrayed S.H.A.D.E. So yes, they sent the assassins after Frankenstein, but it was because they got an official message from someone in a field office in S.H.A.D.E. So she's always been loyal. She's always been willing to do it. So at that point, she's like, "Oh, I will show you. I'll just come with me." And then she like turns the valve on a steam thing, which knocks Frankenstein off of the ramp that he's on. And because there is no ground, it's just sea down beneath. But if you cross through the sea, you then end up on the other side, and you'll be torn apart atom by atom. But Frankenstein literally goes through the bottom of the ocean, and he lands as soon as he's about to crash in the ocean as the issue cuts out. And we see that all these memories that he's been having are very likely, this is the way I read it at least, memories from his body parts. Like the parts that were used to make Frankenstein, these are memories of things that they did. So, yeah. Also, quick little reveal here is that Velcoro caught up with Crowley and is maybe doing something. I don't know. They just say, "This is finally getting fun." And then Crowley says, "No." Whatever that means. There's a lot to take in on this, and the fact that it is part of a larger story just makes it all the more confusing. It's very hard to explain the sort of visual things that are going on with this book. It's not the most difficult read, but it is something that is, I don't know, because I think this is actually the first issue, maybe last issue was. No, this issue was. This is the first issue that isn't Jeff Lemire's, and I feel like they're trying to set something up. I feel like they're trying to do something different, but it is definitely a different writing style, and it's just taking a little bit of time getting used to. Not bad, not awful, but taking time to get used to. So I will go ahead and give it I'll give it a 7. And that's mainly because I like some of the ideas they're throwing out. I like the idea of the body parts having memories, and I like this traitor thing going on. But it's still very much the 7 is mostly the art, which has stayed consistent the whole time. I think it's still the same artist. So very good on that. Writing-wise, we'll see how it plays out. But for right now, it's a 7.